Hi Blue Marble Riders. Today I'm going to talk about my top 5 motorcycle books. The top 5 books I've read in the past 2 or 3 years on motorcycles or motorcycle touring. All of these books can be purchased, and in fact a couple of them are free, through Kindle. If you have a PC and you don't have a Kindle, you can download the PC Kindle Cloud. It's very easy, very simple, or I think you can read any of these on any e-reader. Okay, these are in no particular order, but the first book I'm going to do is The Great Panamerican Motorcycle Expedition by Jesse and Jessica Iyer. Jesse and Jessica Iyer met online, got married quickly thereafter, got their Learner M2 motorcycle licenses, and then proceeded to ride from Canada to Ushuaia through mud, mountains and all sorts of muck on a Versys 650 and an SV 650. Do I really need to say any more?
I really enjoyed this book through the eyes of a new to motorcycling young couple. Sometimes it's refreshing to read something that is open and honest rather than yet another BMW riding world-weary philosopher's account of how he or she racked up the miles while planning their next service stop in Bogota or Buenos Aires. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but this book has stuck with me through the readings of many of the more accomplished and established motorcycle tour books because of its naivety and its open honesty. The story unfolds pretty much chronologically and is told through both his and her perspective, which keeps it interesting. I particularly like the appendices at the back: how to prepare for a Pan-American expedition, how to ride a motorcycle off-road, how to cross borders with a motorcycle, how to cross the Darien Gap, how to speak survival Spanish, how to ride a motorcycle in heavy winds, and how not to ship a motorcycle. Highly recommended.
If shorter stories are more up your canyon, then Jack Lewis's Coming and Going on Bikes, essays of short stories on motorcycles, Volume 1 is probably up your alley, because this is a sequence of 7 essays or short stories written by a motorcycle journalist. He writes for Motorcyclist magazine, and he is a very, very good writer.
But his essays are not for everyone. He's a no-nonsense philosophical writer who muses on 7 different ideas in this book while dealing with some personal baggage. I'll admit, I didn't find him to my taste at first, but picking my way through the short essays, I began to get his vibe and enjoy his sometimes taciturn yet poignant one-liners. In the end, we're all fertilizer. Is the opening gambit of the final essay in the book called Dancing with the Devil, You Can't Find the Edge Without Looking Over It. He hits the nail on the head with that essay, and the whole dollar you'll pay for the Kindle version of this book is worth it just for that one essay alone. Every motorcyclist will find themselves in that particular story somewhere. Lewis knows why riders ride. Likening riding to poker, the metaphor is thick with probability, bluff, and the rider's own promises to self.
The devil or the angel on your shoulder, driving you over or pulling you back from the precipice. We've all been there on motorcycles. It's just that this man offers it all up in such an articulate and no BS way. Highly recommended.
Routine bike maintenance mixed with humorous interactions and recollections make this a quick but entertaining read for the motorcycle rider who has aspirations of a long-distance journey on a non-existent budget with little planning.
While not as poignant as some of the other books on the list, it is nevertheless very entertaining and well worth a read. Dereck Lundy is an accomplished author. He's written many genres, many different types of books. Some on histories on Northern Ireland, some good sailing yarns. But of importance to us is Dereck has written a great book on a motorcycle journey. When an animal is let out of a cage into a new territory, the first thing it will do is explore the perimeter of that territory to find out what lurks in there, what could be a danger to it. The next thing it will do is find out what is outside its territory and can possibly encroach into it. And that's where the heart of this book starts.
With an almost prescient ability, in his book Borderlands, Riding the Edge of America, published in 2010, Lundy explores America's borders with Canada and Mexico. He rides both borders, comparing and contrasting the two areas in an attempt to understand Americans and to get to know the country. His prose is powerful and his journeys are chilling in some cases. Run-ins with Border Patrol, drug mules, and his inability to fully master his bike on the dirt trails leading to the Mexican border make for a tense reading at times. Then Lundy will take you on a circular journey through a loop of history that pertains to his current predicament or his location on the Mexican or Canadian border. Part philosophical, part pragmatic, Lundy's book is fascinating and well worth the read from both the Canadian and American standpoint. And he hasn't skimped on the quality of the riding sequences either. All I can do is focus hard and without let-up on the road's surface, scrutinize it for treachery and unsoundness, and try to read its minute topography yard by yard at 40, 50, or 60 miles an hour, and accept that no matter how careful I am, I might still go down. Just a matter of luck, or the lack of it. Perhaps the most exciting parts of the book are when he repeatedly comes face to face with Border Patrol with guns drawn and has to explain why a Canadian on a motorcycle with bags is yards away from paralleling the Mexican border on dirt roads which are closed.
Lundy's book is a compelling read for anyone, but especially the rider. A footnote here, if you are also a sailor, then his book, The Way of a Ship, is probably one of, and it's universally acclaimed so, one of the best sailing books ever written. It's about a distant relative of his that left Ireland or England, got on a bark, a massive, blown out clipper ship if you like, and then in the last of the age of sail, sailed over to Valparaiso, Chile, and the extreme environment he had to live in, up on the mast, going around Cape Horn. Wow, an incredible read as well. Great author. Okay, the final book on my list is a little personal with me because it is, and I admit my bias, it is written by an acquaintance of mine. I'd almost call him a friend, although I don't see him that often. The book is called Panamerica Pass, My Dream Motorcycle Journey, and it's written by Vincent Delonge, who lives not far away from me. And basically the story goes like this. Several years ago, I forget exactly how many, there's a person I know that has a Scottish New Year party, and we have it at 4 o'clock our time because that is midnight in Scotland, and she serves up all the good stuff, including the single malt and the haggis. You gotta love it. And I see Vincent once a year at this, and we've struck up a bit of a friendship because, well, one, he's a sailor. He sailed single-handed to Alaska, so this guy's got the form, folks, for this journey that he's done. And two, he likes motorcycles, and one of the first times I met him, I think he talked to me about motorcycles. He said, "You ride motorcycles, what do you ride?" And so I went through what I was riding at the time. He asked me if it was good for touring, and I said, yeah, absolutely, great bike for touring, having no idea what his eventual goal was. And then what he does is he comes back next year to the party and tells me, well, you know what, I bought that bike you talked about, and I've been doing some short tours from British Columbia to Montana. Short tours. Look it up on a map, folks. That's a nice tour. Let's put it that way. It's a good chunk of going through Europe. So he blew me away with that one, and then further blew me away when he said, no, I'm planning a trip now from Vancouver Island to Ushuaia, Argentina. I was absolutely stunned by this, and wow, tip my hat. The book itself is a fascinating read.
And you know what? He did it. This was both amazing and inspirational to me. Vincent is a humble, unassuming man with a great deal of travel in his background. A Belgian originally, he speaks a few languages including Spanish, so this trip was a natural fit for him. But it was more than that. It was his boyhood dream. The book opens with his early motorcycle experiences in Belgium and then fast forwards to his preparing and leaving for this trip. Not an atypical intro, but Vincent's enthusiasm is energizing. He meets friends and acquaintances on the way, and in the southern states joins a small group of riders at an FBI agent's house, and they start their way south. These guys have never met before or ridden together, and the various ins and outs of that are explored, including the many stories from the undercover FBI agent whose paranoias frequently surface as they cross borders and get deeper into Central America. This book is about places, people, cultures, history, and interactions. It's a fascinating look at connections, borders, landscapes, and of course, motorcycling. The book is free on Kindle, or $6.61 Canadian as a paperback. Go on, give it a try, particularly if you're contemplating riding from North America to Ushuaia via the Darien Gap, hopping on the Stalrat, or the famous Steel Rat. And if you don't know what that is, you gotta read this book.
Vincent doesn't know it yet, but I do intend on interviewing him. So if you're listening to this, Vincent, sorry you're in shock. But yeah, I'm going to definitely interview Vincent more on the motorcycle side of things, the logistics, what it was like crossing borders, high points, low points, excellent places, roads, things like that. So I'll bring that to you once Vincent's finally agreed to do that. I haven't even asked him yet. I'll hector and badger him until he consents, I'm sure. Just a footnote on him, he has upgraded his bike now to a V-Strom 1000, and I think he's headed up to Tuktoyaktuk, as we all have to stay in our own countries to ride. He's gone on quite a long journey. He really has and does love long journeys. So thank you guys for listening. I hope you found that really valuable and of some use to you, especially now, particularly where I live. Summer has finally hit and it's nice and warm, incredibly warm. And you've got time, hopefully, to crack open a book or open your Kindle, or if you don't have a Kindle, download the Kindle Cloud app to your PC and read from there, or any other e-reader. And you can click on any of the affiliate links for Amazon.ca below. The fewer clicks you make, if you go directly to my link, I get more of a kickback. You don't pay any extra for it, and don't forget, 2 of them are completely free anyway. The others are pretty cheap. I'm talking, I don't know, $3 to $6. So it's not that much of a risk for you to try them out. I can say I found them very entertaining. And yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Cheers, and until next time, this is the Blue Marble Rider, out.
Once again, thanks for watching, everyone. If this is the first time you've watched, please consider subscribing. I do product reviews, motorcycle reviews, off-road and on-road vlogs, as well as tours. Don't forget to follow me on social media, that's Instagram, Facebook and Twitter, and to like, and especially, I'm begging you here folks, subscribe. This is the Blue Marble Rider, out.